Thank you for your service. Okay, now I'll hand it over to Bill.
Gosh, it's good to see you all here tonight. And I'm gonna skip from where we were last week to do the veterans thing. So kind of bear with me on that. This is a picture we looked at right at the very beginning. This is on my book, Streets of Ladoga. And when Chet Weiss was still alive, I asked him to look at this picture and give me the names. And he didn't know many of them. So I'm sure that there's nobody else is going to know many. But I'll show you just a couple. Second from left, this is Pete Parker. And this is a Strickler. This is Brian, Ben or Vern, one of the Bryans. And this is Billy McNulty's dad right here, John McNulty. And the rest of them.
Clyde Mote's there too.
Yeah, which one's that?
About fifth from the left, second row.
Second row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's Clyde Mote.
Yep, he used to
Okay.
live in East End.
Did you know him?
We were all afraid of him.
Yeah.
You gave him, well, on Halloween, you didn't bother him.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he ever did anything to deserve that, but that was his reputation. Yeah. That he did.
Now, Bob Weiss has the original of this picture.
Oh, really?
So he loaned it to me to just copy. Let's see now how I get. Megan, help me. How do I get started here?
Well, let's see. There we go.
I'm just a one button guy. Just tell me one button to push.
Let's see. Get that out of the way. All right. And then click. There we go. Okay, now you can use your arrows.
The right arrow and the left arrow?
Yep.
Or the up and down arrow?
Right and left.
Okay. There are two really significant events that happen that have a connection to Ladoga. One of them is the sinking of the USS Indianapolis. And so I pulled this picture off the internet to show you that the storm clouds were already gathering over the USS Indianapolis. The USS Indianapolis delivered the components for the first atomic bomb before being torpedoed by a Japanese submarine on July the 30th, 1945. The ship sank in 12 minutes. Of the 1,190 men on board, only 900 initially survived the sinking, but were later rescued after 5 days. However, only 316 men ultimately survived due to exposure and other factors, the other factors being sharks. And if you can imagine being without food or water for 5 days in the heat of the sun and the cold at night, and the sharks not caring whether it was day or night, they were still on the lookout. 56 of those who survived did so because of the bravery and disobedience of a direct order by Lieutenant Adrian Marks, a graduate of Ladoga High School in the class of 1933. The torpedoing of the USS Indianapolis resulted in the greatest single loss of life at sea from a single ship in U.S. Navy history. Has anyone seen the USS Indianapolis display monument up in Indianapolis? It's at the Memorial something. Is that right downtown?
It's down right downtown.
And now the whole, there are more memorials besides the USS Indianapolis. Is it called Memorial Parkway or something? Or
I believe they changed it.
okay, but anyway, there's Adrian Marks. And what would you do if you saw 50 men drowning and orders told you to fly away? Adrian Marks answered with the sound of a plane hitting water. Chet Weiss said that Adrian Marks was the smartest guy he ever knew. And his father was a lawyer here in Ladoga when I was growing up. So I don't know what his name was. They used to call him Lawyer Marks. And so Adrian Marks was July 1945. The Pacific Ocean struck quiet and endless beneath the wings of Lieutenant Adrian Marks. He was searching for survivors of the USS Indianapolis, a cruiser that had vanished after delivering atomic bomb components to Tinian. Hours earlier, the ship had been torpedoed and sunk within minutes. 900 men were in the water. Sharks circled, heat rose, hope was fading. when Marks spotted tiny orange life vests. Now just picture that. You're the pilot of a PBY. He nicknamed it Dumbo. You're flying there and you begin to see these little orange life vests. He radioed their location, and they made a decision that defied protocol and saved dozens of lives. The sea was too rough for landing. His orders were to stay airborne, but he refused to watch men die below him, bringing his PBY Catalina down into the swells, the height of buildings. Now, a swell is a wave. So these were waves as high as buildings, and he puts that PBY down right in the middle of it. The plane slammed into the water and held. Marks and his crew hauled survivors aboard one after another until the cabin overflowed. They tied men to the wings to keep them afloat, risking their own lives with each rescue. By the time Navy ships arrived, Marks had saved 56 men. His plane was so battered that it could never fly again, but that wreck became his sanctuary on the sea. When later asked why he disobeyed orders, he answered quietly, "I could see them dying." It wasn't defiance that drove him, it was decency, the kind that values life over rules. So that's a Ladoga graduate, and he's just a hero to all of us because of what he did. There's a picture of him in his flight jacket, Adrian Marks, and this is the USS Indianapolis monument at I guess they call it Monument Park or Memorial something.
It's on the canal.
It's right on the canal.
Yeah. East side.
Okay, that's a trip I have to make. Is there any other monument you've been there? Any other monuments that stand out to you?
Well, I don't know how many monuments are there. There's 3 or 4, 5, maybe. I don't know. There's one, that one. There's one from the 911, and there's another one up there. I don't remember what it was. to be
Yeah.
honest about it.
I think that's a trip. We need to take a field trip up there, right?
There you go.
There is the PBY. Adrian Marks called his Dumbo. And notice the wheels there, they must come down somehow, Louis. Would that be the right thing?
Yeah, I think so.
And so it can land on water or on the land. And if you can imagine, now the sea is really calm behind this picture. It wasn't calm when Adrian Marks put Dumbo down on the water. There's a picture of Adrian Marks and his crew. And there's a picture of him. It says Adrian Marks beside the PBY he used to save. Well, that was the picture taken before he said it because it went down. It would never fly again. And this, he became a lawyer who practiced law at Frankfurt. So I'm not sure I've never been to Frankfurt. This is another field trip we need to take. He's you see his PBY in the background there, and Adrian Marks painted on the side of that building. And so he spent his entire law career at Frankfurt. And the second really significant event that a Ladoga man had a part in is the Bataan Death March. And Jim Tribby was, he said he weighed 220 pounds when he went into the service, weighed 97 pounds when the Bataan Death March was over. I thought Harley might come tonight. Harley Barnard and Jim Tribby became really good friends. As a matter of fact, when Jim Tribby, the first thing he did when he got home from the service was go to Edwin Barnard and pay him $50 that he owed him. So I don't know whether that was some kind of a commitment he made. He said, "Lord, if I ever get out of this, I'll pay all my debts." But anyway, Harley and Jim became really good friends. And this is a sketch that some of Jim Tribby's buddies, one of his buddies, made of the of the men on the Bataan Death March. I think it was about a 65-mile march through tropical heat. Can't you just see the desperation in these men's faces? I mean, if a man escaped during the night, when they had roll call the next morning, if there was an empty space, they shot the man on each side. And so they bayoneted him just for fun, and they shot him just at a whim. And it was really a cruel ordeal that these guys went through. And here are a couple of pictures after the Battle of Bataan in 1942. 66,000 Filipinos and 10,000 Americans were forced to march over 65 miles to Fort O'Donnell. Once they got there, a lot of them died after the march was over. 2,500 Filipinos and 500 Americans. Jim Tribby, class of 1935, was one of the survivors. He tried to. Did anybody know Jim? Yeah. he was a guy that just simply marched to the beat of his own drummer. He tried to escape 2 or 3 times. Every time he tried to escape, they just beat him up something
Have
for it.
you ever heard some of the tales he told about the bamboo strips jammed under fingernails?
And then set him on fire.
Yeah.
Now, Gail Dean Duncan was going to write the story of Jim Trivia and the Bataan Death March before she passed away. And then Jim passed away not long after that. Now, his daughter was Ginger, right? Do anybody have any connection with his grandkid? Would that be Ginger? Ginger was never married, was she? She was. Did she have 3 kids?
No idea.
And something that I read, it said that Jim Trivia had 3 grandchildren. And I just wondered, Gail Dean took a lot of notes that she was going to write the account of Jim Trivia and the Bataan Death March. And I just wondered who has those notes.
He had another daughter too.
Donna.
That had two kids.
Okay, so that must have been 2 of the grandkids.
Yeah, Ginger probably had the other
Now, where is Donna? Does she live around here?
one. She passed a long time ago.
So if there's anything left, one of the 3 grandkids has to have it. Does anyone know where the 3 grandkids are? Are they around Crawfordsville or? No. Terry Klein, where are you?
I'm back here.
Okay,
We found that one granddaughter last spring, and I can't remember if you contacted her or I did, but she never answered us.
Yeah.
So
that Jim Trivia story needs to be told.
I can tell you this much, I
Even
worked
he
at
did
the
at
marathon.
school.
And always watched Jim's truck
Yeah.
for him.
And I
And
think
Jim
they
was always
videoed
generous.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Beyond,
Video.
most people just paid for the wash job and left. Jim always gave me a tip.
Yep.
And
Now, was he an electrician in town here for a long time?
yeah, he was doing electrician work.
Well, being the type of guy that he was always looking for a way to escape. And so he escaped 2 or 3 times. And the last time he jumped into a river or some kind of a body of water and swam away and got away the last time, he and some other guys. So, yeah.
Wasn't he recaptured and then sent into Japan after that?
Now that I don't know.
I always heard the story that him and one other guy was responsible for the sinking of a Japanese ship. What it was, I don't know, but they were in
Yeah.
charge of loading and doing something to it. And they did something to that ship that caused it to go down after it went. to
And see,
sea.
that's a story that needs to be told. And Gail Dean took a lot of notes when she was talking to Jim. So that
Brian Hitchcock told him that. They were like loading sugar or something onto it.
Yeah.
They purposely
See,
put
that's
sugar
what I
in
thought.
the
I
tank. and
Thanks for backing me
So
up.
they knew they could get so far out in the bay and it at least stop. It ran out, it got plugged up.
Yeah,
They tried to sabotage it when they were loading it.
that would definitely be a trick that Jim would be aware of.
Or did it actually sink or did? Well,
So
maybe I
nobody
just-
in here has ever put sugar in somebody's gas tank, right?
No.
It's not good for him, is it?
Jim went back for some kind of reunion, because I remember him talking about the ice wine, how terrible it was.
Yeah.
He remembered that from being older.
tell him how much you got paid for his back pay.
I don't know.
I read it in your thing.
I mean, I knew it one time and forgot.
Yeah.
How
I think
much
it
was it,
I think
Terry?
it was like $1 a day.
$1 a day.
It's ridiculous. Okay, so I found his granddaughter again. Her name's Katie Morrison. She's the owner operator at Morrison's Aquarium and Petting Zoo, and she lives in Crawfordsville. She was born in '77. That's what we know about her.
Okay, send that to me, will you, Terry?
Sure.
I'll try not to lose it in cyberspace like I lose everything else. Honors Jim Trivia out. He's buried out here at the Ladoga Cemetery. This is the Bataan Memorial, and I tried to get a better picture, but I haven't been very successful with that. This is Harley Barnard's brother. The first flag that I ever saw, the Gold Star Mother flag, was hanging in Edwin and Molly Barnard's window. And every time I'd go by there on my paper route every morning.
He was in my mom's class,
Is that right? That was in the class of what?
38.
38. So this is Jim Bar. Boy, he looks like Harley, doesn't he?
Like
And this-
Harley does today.
Yeah, like Harley does today. And this is his flight group. He flew a B-24 Liberator, and that B-24 is going to show up again in another picture not too long. But what a great picture there. Great guy. And these are his medals that Harley has in a case. And his stone is out at the Ladoga Cemetery. William Paul Cummings. Anybody knew Paul? Bill Cummings? Oh, you really, if you didn't know him, you missed something.
I tried to get Phil and Michelle to come tonight, but they were busy.
He flew 102 missions in 3 wars: World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. And he was one of the most decorated, but one of the most humble guys that you'd ever meet. I mean, he just simply
What did he fly?
a B-24,
Oh,
a B-24.
not in Vietnam.
No, that would have just been World War II. Wouldn't it? What would it have been then later
I'm not sure. B-52 is the only bombers that flew in Vietnam.
in Vietnam? So the B-24 was probably phased out after
Yeah.
World War One.
World War II.
World War II. I'm sorry. We'll see some pictures in just a minute. But anyway, now you can go online and maybe enlarge that a little bit, and you can see a little bit more about Bill. But this is the old B-24 Liberator. They called it the flying coffin because there was only one exit. Now, why? And it was in the back.
Is that right?
It was in the back.
I heard it.
So why you would, why the engineers thought that was a good idea, I don't know. But it was really well armed. It had tail gunners and belly gunners and nose gunners. Can you imagine being one of those guys? Oh my goodness! And you know, there's just room to sit and no room to move around, and you're just waiting for an enemy plane to show up, and not me, folks. And there's a B-24 dropping their bombs, and there's an artist rendering of a B-24. That's a great picture there, isn't it? That in color. This is Paul. You remember Wimpy Ball? They married sisters, Ruth Ann Britz, and what was Paul's wife? Anyway, this is Wimpy Ball here on the left, and that's a picture of Paul. Wimpy told the story of this picture. Somehow I can't remember the ship that Wimpy was on, but anyway, Paul pulled a few strings and was able to land a plane on that ship and surprise Wimpy with his presence. They hadn't seen each other for a couple of years, so
Really?
Paul shows up there, and there's Wimpy.
Hey, I want to go back and talk about Paul a little bit more.
Okay.
So you can't read that one thing that's really small. I'm going to give you a little synopsis of it.
Okay.
So he was a 1939 graduate of Ladoga High School. He was one of Ladoga's most remarkable military heroes. He spent 28 years in the service and flew combat missions in 3 wars: World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. As an Air Force pilot, he flew 50 missions over Europe during World War II, 24 missions over Korea, and 28 over Vietnam. He often said he felt safest when his bomber was escorted by the Red Tails, the famous Tuskegee Airmen of the 99th Pursuit Squadron, who flew P-51 Mustangs and protected bombers from enemy fighters. Cummings' most dangerous mission came during mission number 47 in World War II. As a co-pilot of a B-24 Buzz, his crew of 10 took off from Verona, Italy, targeting the, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce it, Luftwaffe Zeppelin works near Friedrichshafen, Germany,
You got it right.
a critical factory for German aircraft parts. During the bombing run, the plane took a direct hit, killing the navigator, wounding 2 crew members, and leaving the plane nearly uncontrollable. Despite severe damage, the crew managed to return to base, crash landing, and narrowly missing control tower and parked plane. Later, the crew counted over 500 flak holes